Porgera landowners raise concerns. Questions raised in Parliament. And special investigation team apprehends 27 Malaysians.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Seah.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for Saturday's news. Porgera Mine's special mining lease expiry and the closures of the mine have opened debate on PNG's mining industry going forward. While negotiations for the mine between Barrick and the state is at a dead end, mining and organic law amendments proposing the aspect of the state-owned entity Kumul Mineral Holdings Limited having first reference for new and expired SMLs. Porgera landowners raising concerns on amendments along with Barrick after a proposed gazettal was leaked of the SML for Porgera Mine being granted to KMHL.
It's been a week of debates on Porgera's mine's future. On Thursday, a leak proposed gazettal continuing the debate on the state's push to have a better stake in any resource development in this country.
We informed the people of this country that we just have to be patient. Octedi was a different scenario where, because of environmental issues, the company had to exit, and it was a different arrangement. Here we have a SML that's expired, and it's the first one. And so it's a learning curve for the country, so we all have to be patient. Patience will get us through.
EMTV understands the proposed gazettal was not signed by the Governor-General as of yet. The gazettal stating that the state-owned entity Kumul Minerals Holding Limited was granted the special mining lease for Porgera. Porgera Landowner Association Chairman Maso Mangape, in reference to the gazettal, stated that the move by the state to grant the SML to KMHL was with zero consultation with the rightful landowners and without a single visit to Porgera Valley to understand the people's views, was highly inflammatory in an already volatile situation.
The application long Barrick, yes, Mipla been expressing like lo Mipla long this la time. Or like, but there was a concern feelings long that towards long application long payam, but long this lab long Kumul Minerals long end and Mipla no been participate inside long any consultation process that was required, no, and it's required under the law. But now Mipla feeling was Mipla Papagran are marginalized, have no opportunity or ability, expressing Mipla yet long ground long Mipla.
On Monday this week, Central Bougainville MP and Shadow Mining Minister visited Porgera Valley to receive a petition from affected groups to present in Parliament.
Inside on this Parliament session, suppose you play that one petition, I'm willing to take this petition into Parliament on your behalf.
In Parliament on Friday, Akotai clarifying his visit to Porgera during the grievance debate after what he claims was a misconception he had gone to support Barrick.
Which people have commented that I was representing a company. I represented the company to travel to Porgera, which is totally wrong. I only responded to a call, an invitation, which was sent to other members of Parliament to go and listen to them and hear them out on their issues and the hardships that they are facing in Porgera.
Meanwhile, on the proposed gazettal, Akotai has stated the opposition will raise it in Parliament to seek clarifications on the state's intent and where the proper process were followed.
The granting of the special mining lease demonstrates the comment that I made when the amendments were coming through, where I stated that the amendments that were taken up by the government in the previous Parliament, sitting, I stated that the government was promoting an uneven playing field. So now the practice of what I stated is now happening. Basically, all other companies are required to do all these things, but not Kumul Minerals. So what is happening now is that the government is empowering itself And at the same time, the government is a regulator. So who do you regulate?
The debate brewing a nationalist approach to our resource sector, something James Maripet took upon himself to ensure it would take place during his term as Prime Minister. Adelaide Sirks, Kari National, EMTV News.
A handful of members of parliament still question the government over the process of accessing funding announced to help businesses and individuals during the COVID-19 pandemic. Karukuhiri MP Peter Isoaimu was one who raised this in yesterday's parliament sitting. Governor Chris Havetta also demanded answers from Treasurer Ian Ling-Stuckey to specify aspects of the stimulus package where ordinary people can access.
While the country is embracing itself against COVID-19, many still question the funding allocated by the ruling government. While special announcements were made earlier this year in the first lockdown, many are concerned as to how this funding is used.
Mr. Minister, can you confirm how much money the national government has budgeted to date to address the health and economic effects of COVID-19 pandemic?
Responding, the Treasurer did not give the total funding used to what is at hand, but gave an insight to the measures taken by the state to alleviate economic struggles. The Treasurer says on top of the much talked about stimulus package, funding has been earmarked for districts and provinces.
Original 500 million, which was increased to 600. We broke that up into two sections. The first one was 280 million kina. 280 million kina for the health and security sectors, and 320 million kina for the agriculture, household and business sectors, totaling 600 million kina.
A supplementary question from the Gulf Governor also questioned Minister Stuckey for specifics.
I would like you to spell out all those economic stimulus measures that you are putting in place. Because some of them are going to the banks, others are going to various ministries to implement, and to open members and to the governors.
About 2/4 of the 600 million enclosed for COVID-19 funding is been eaten up. The Treasurer says border protection, security, purchase of PPEs and other health measures are the major expenses.
41.5 million kina as an additional business stimulus package to protect jobs. And lastly, 70 million kina as an additional standby reserve, which is still not used, Mr. Speaker, that completes the 320 million kina package. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Jack Lapava Jr., National, EMTV News.
Over 11 billion kina in funding has been spent on special intervention programs. While this is a 30-year development program implemented by the state, ECP Governor Alan Bird is calling for audits. Governor Bird raised questions in Parliament yesterday, stating for review and audits in all districts and provinces. The Finance Minister admitted discrepancies, however said Finance and the Department of Implementation and Rural Development will be tasked to carry out this exercise.
Have we ever done an audit of the program to determine its effectiveness? Number one question. Number two question, if we haven't, why not? Number three question, if you are interested in doing an audit, when will it start? And if you are going to do that audit, I'd like to volunteer the ECP province for you to come in and do that audit beginning in my province.
There is a program now starting this year for us to audit any funding that we are giving through the SIP program, which is the DSIP and the PSIPs. And we will continue that program to now and going forward. And I thank the government in recognizing that we need to audit the funding that is actually happening. And
you're watching National EMTV News. We'll be back with more stories after these messages. Stay with us. Welcome back. 27 Malaysian men were apprehended by a special task force team near Collingwood Bay, which houses one of the country's biggest logging sites. Located between the provincial borders of Northern and Milne Bay, the joint task force made the apprehension upon inspection in Wanigela village.
Normal check. Not only we check Musa, Musangara, everywhere.
The apprehension of these Malaysians comes after a 7-hour boat ride into Wanigela village. Upon an assessment by the Special Investigation Team, comprising of immigrations and fraud officers, it was noted that these Malaysians could not understand English. Further questioning revealed that there were no documents in black and white, either from the Investment Promotion Authority or PNG Forest Authority, that permitted a logging operation in that area. Attempts to contact their main office in Port Moresby were unsuccessful. This apprehension is part of the joint operation nicknamed Restorim Kaiva. A total of 44 foreigners, mainly of Asian origins, were apprehended in Musa, Poru, Sangara and now Wanigela. 21 out of the 44 have already been charged, while the recent 27 are undergoing investigation to establish their documents in Port Moresby. Meanwhile, immigration officers accused of colluding with these men were arrested and suspended after an internal investigation revealed 170 fake visas were issued over time since early 2019. Immigrations and Border Security Minister Wesley Nukunch says while PNG welcomes international investors, foreigners must comply with PNG laws. This sanction investigation will continue throughout the country in areas identified as hotspots which are considered threat to our national security. Thakla National EMTV News.
No other arrests were made in relation to the cocaine smuggling incident reported in July, except the 2 expatriate men and 3 locals who were charged under the Customs Act. However, Prime Minister James Marape says the 200 million kina worth of cocaine seized by police in Port Moresby was airlifted to Australia to use as court exhibits. Marape made this statement in Parliament when answering questions raised by former Prime Minister Peter O'Neill on current law and order issues in Papua New Guinea.
Ever increasing in our society.
The announcement made by Prime Minister Marape came as a surprise for many Papua New Guineans who have been following the story since the attempt to transport cocaine into the Australian market. Marape told Parliament the 750 kilograms of cocaine was transported to Australia for safekeeping, while PNG police will continue to investigate the matter. However, since the arrest and committal appearance of the 5 men, no further arrests or new information were released on the joint police investigation. According to information presented before the Waigani Committal Court, the Italian man, 52-year-old Carlo D'Atanasio, who sailed into Papua New Guinea on MV Badu, was accused of bringing in the illicit drugs. The 2 PNG men, 36-year-old Dominic Telauki and Morgan Mogu, who were alleged to have met D'Atanasio at Kupiano Station in Abao District between February and April and removed cocaine from the yacht. The third PNG man, 31-year-old Shane Dikana, was charged for his alleged involvement in assisting the Australian pilot, 52-year-old David Cutmore, to transport the contraband into Australia. All 5 men are still in police custody after the Waigani National Court rejected applications for bail by the 3 PNG men. Meanwhile, HMPNGS Moresby, a PNGDF maritime vessel, successfully seized a Chinese vessel wanted in Australia for smuggling 1.8 ton of cocaine earlier this week. Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
The newly established Port Moresby Hela People's Association is calling on all Hela people residing in the nation's capital to come together and seriously address the law and order issues concerning their place of origin. Association founder and leader Tom Piscapo, in speaking to EMTV News yesterday, expressed great concern on the killings emanating from tribal fighting in Hela province, as well as related killings recently at Erima in NCD.
The killing of a grade 12 student of Tari Secondary School and killings in Erima NCD in recent weeks are among the latest killing incidents relating to tribal fighting back in the Hela province.
I apologize to all the citizens in PNG, especially in the capital city. When the Helas are taking Helas within the city, as a concerned citizen of Hela, I have to come out voluntarily to take this step to say no to this one.
Despite protests against tribal fighting by communities in Tebi LLG Hela province recently, Taripori MP and Prime Minister James Marape is yet to respond to the petition presented during the protest march. In Parliament this week, Yalibu Pangia MP and former Prime Minister Peter O'Neill questioned Prime Minister Marape about the government's negligence and slow response concerning tribal fighting in Hela and Southern Highlands provinces. The tribal fighting has resulted in people living in fear and panic due to limited access to basic services such as education, health and law and order agencies.
Just because of that one, I registered and I found and registered, incorporated an association called Port Moresby Hela People's Association. And then I appeal to all the Helas living in the city to cooperate and then come out and then we get together.
Mr. Capo is planning on having a big gathering at a selected venue in NCD with permission to be sought from the pandemic response controller David Manning, with the aim of putting in place strategies and working together with leaders from the Hela province. The association leader says those responsible for the killings must be held accountable by law enforcement agencies in the country, thus condemning the latest killings relating to tribal fighting.
And then I appeal to all the Helas once again. We don't expect the miracle to happen. And I don't expect our leaders to come down to our level and then we do something.
Dennis Orere, National EMTV News.
Port Moresby Nature Park celebrated a remarkable achievement for conservation as they saw 27 endangered pig-nosed turtles released back into the wild. It wraps up a 5-year conservation project managed by the Nature Park in collaboration with the Piku Biodiversity Network, University of Canberra and WOW Conservation Area.
27 endangered pig-nosed turtles were released recently into the waters of Wow Creek in the Gulf Province. The release wraps up a 5-year conservation project managed by the Nature Park in collaboration with the Piku Biodiversity Network, University of Canberra and WOW Conservation Area. Pig-nosed turtles are freshwater species and categorized as endangered due to illegal smuggling and overhunting. The turtles were flown into Kikori, housed in individual holding tubs. Then they traveled for 2.5 hours before arriving at their birthplace, where they had been collected 5 years earlier while still in their eggs. This conservation program will increase their chances of survival in the wild to about 30%. This is significantly up from the 1% chance that they would have had without this conservation project. The return of the pig-nosed turtles was a carefully coordinated activity that took months of planning. Lilian Supera-Kinea, National EMTV News.
And Trukai Sport is next. Kilawani joins us at the sports desk.
Thank you, Helen. I will be back with more sporting updates on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The highly anticipated match between Hecarim United and Pignosed United ended in a draw with both teams scoring a goal apiece in the first half, leaving the match in the second half for a 1-1 draw.
United, they're all standing still.
Hecarim United and Pignosed graced the PNG Football Stadium for their second encounter this season. For this match, Hecarim were in their away colours against the second-placed Pignosed United. Hecarim welcomed back Korea Kupaiga, who was a key figure in shifting the ball out wide onto the left flank. The leadership of David Muta and Michael Foster and Nigel Dabinyaba linking up well with Raymond Gunemba and Kolu Kepo. But the execution needed some fine-tuning.
Dabinyaba and Kolu Kepo was appealing for that ball as well.
Hecarim kept the ball in the Pignosed half for a good number of minutes but were unable to capitalize. Pignosed, on the other hand, had speed in their counter, with Yagi Asasa testing his boot.
Yasasa.
Matthew David also teasing the goal mount. But Hecarim was not all perfect, with Korea Kupaiga's rookie mistake handing Jonathan Allen the first goal.
Kupaiga, Oya Buab, Jonathan Allen for Pignosed!
This left Hecarim agitated and wanting to level the scores, and their persistence paid off. Just 5 minutes after Jonathan Allen's goal, Foster heading one through from a David Muta free kick.
Hecarim looking for that equalizer. Foster, there it is! Michael Foster back on the pitch, back on the goal scoring sheet.
The score was 1-1 at half-time. Hecarim returned in the second half in red and were fired up.
Curves it.
But Hecarim failed to capitalize on goal-scoring opportunities. The match was far from perfect, with Eliud Fugre handed a yellow card for a foul against Michael Foster. Nigel had an opportunity to put the game away but found the goalpost instead.
Hecarim, he's free. Nigel Dabinyaba hits the...
The same despair followed through for Pignosed.
Chance!
In the end, the match ended 1-1, with both teams remaining in the same position as last week. Fidelis Sukina, Trukai Sports.
Now, in an unusual way of competing, the first-of-a-kind online weightlifting competition commenced yesterday. The International Weightlifting Federation live-streamed the competition from their official website, seeing the likes of world champions in weightlifting. Papua New Guinea's weightlifting queen Dika Toa participated from her home village in Hanuabara in the nation's capital.
A quite strong field of athletes came together for the first online International Weightlifting Cup. Commencing yesterday and will continue through to the 30th of August, the Weightlifting Federation of Uzbekistan organized an online opportunity to the weightlifters from all around the world. Confirmed 109 athletes from 30 countries are competing in this inaugural competition. Papua New Guinea's weightlifting queen Dika Toa participated yesterday from her home village in Hanuabara in the nation's capital. In the snatch session, Toa's first attempt recorded 65 and 90 kilos respectively. The second attempt was not recorded due to technical issues. With her second attempt, she lifted 70 and 95 kilos. The second session of clean and jerk, Toa lifted 90 kilos in the first attempt. Unfortunately, due to terrible internet connectivity here in Papua New Guinea, was declared a no lift in the second attempt. When contacted today, Toa expressed confidence in her performance and is awaiting results from the officials regarding the no lifts, which were due to internet connectivity issues.
The last day of the Curtin Brothers Women's T20 Smash saw teams Kasuwaris and Mad Women battle for the 2020 title. Despite having a few setbacks, including the weather, the tournament concluded with some good cricket action. The Curtin Brothers Women's T20 Smash concluded yesterday at the home of cricket, Amini Park, in the nation's capital. This is the fourth year of the tournament and a great platform for showcasing Papua New Guinea's national cricketers.
It's all about showing the young girls' talent and also the levels of the senior players. Yeah, they show their talent in this tournament.
Despite COVID-19 lockdown and bad weather affecting the competition, the tournament reached the grand final with Hino Kasuwaris and Track Pro Mad Women yesterday. With Kasuwaris winning the toss and electing to bat, after 20 overs, the Kasos were 3 wickets down, 415 runs. The chase began for the Track Pro Mad Women. After 20 overs, the Mad Women were 9 wickets down for 83 runs. Kasuwaris winning the grand final, claiming the Curtin Brothers Women's T20 Smash title for 2020. As the women's T20 cricket concludes, the rest of the year is set aside for preparations towards the postponed international fixtures.
But it's a good competition. It's an opportunity for our girls. They've got they've got an EAP qualifier for a World Cup next year and a global qualifier for a 50-over World Cup. So we'll pick a squad out of this that'll train and form the basis of the lowest contracted players next year. So it's a big opportunity for them.
And that story ends True Kai Sports. Helen will bring you the weather details. Bye for now.
True Kai Sports. True Kai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
A look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours in the southern region. Occasionally cloudy with light drizzle and rain in Port Moresby, Daru and Kerama. Rain showers and drizzles in Alotau and cloudy with a chance of occasional showers in Popondetta. In the Mamasa region, cloudy with occasional rain showers in Lee. Find and chance of afternoon showers in Midang. Fine weather, then possible afternoon showers in Wewak and Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, occasional rain showers in Lorengau and Kavieng, occasional thundery showers in Kokoporabao, Kimbe and Boka. And in the Highlands region, occasionally cloudy with chance of afternoon showers in Mount Hagen, mostly fine then afternoon showers developing in Goroka and Kondiawa, and cloudy with occasional showers in Mendi and Wabeg.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
And that's the way it is this Saturday, the 29th of August 2020. From all of us here at EMTV, pleasant viewing, be safe, bye for now.